Welcome to Shaf Man TV. Thanks a lot for joining me. Today we're going to look at Burnley Football Club and what their chances are in the Premier League. Before we talk about the football side of things, let's have a look at the recent takeover of the club. There's been quite a lot of concern been raised about this takeover because it's very similar to the leveraged buyout technique that the Glazier family used to buy Manchester United. Burnley historically have been a debt-free club. In 2019, they reported in their financial accounts that they had no debt and £42 million in cash. So they were in a very, very, very healthy position. That's now changed because the new owners have used a leveraged buyout model and have used debt and some of the club's own money to purchase the club. And if you believe reports from The Guardian, the club are now £90 million worse off. So I think that Burnley fans may be a little bit concerned about the new owners, and I also think it's a very, very, very crucial time for Burnley to probably stay in the Premier League because they've probably forecast money, Premier League money, Premier League broadcast revenue to actually pay the debt, pay off the sellers, and to use the organic revenue from the club to actually pay for things. As a Manchester United fan, this business model is a disaster and it could be a real disaster. United have just survived by the skin of their teeth, and the massive revenues they've been able to generate from the global fan base has just got them through. If Burnley were to be relegated, I'd really fear for the club, like the actual existence of the club, and to go from having £40 million in cash and no debt to having maybe 50, 60, 80, 90 million pounds of debt should be very scary for Burnley fans. So anyway, on the field, well, really, for to have a Premier League club in a small Lancashire town, Sean Dyche has worked miracles. He really has worked miracles on a tight budget. Nobody wants to play Burnley. They have a way of playing. I really like Dyche. He's a funny guy, actually, and I think he's a very good manager. If football management is about getting the maximum out of your players, then Sean Dyche is one of the best managers in England. There's no doubt about it. So they've done it predominantly buying British players, quite a few free transfers, and they have some good players. Like, for me, McNeil's an impressive player. Tarkowski, good player, and they've seemed to produce pretty good goalkeepers, and Wood's a handful up front, and they're just a very functional team, and they've not really spent much money, and he's worked miracles. So what about this season? They have had a bit of a departure from their usual transfer policy because it was rather bizarre that they signed Maxwell Cornet from Lyon for 13.5 million. It was when I saw the news, I thought, wow, this is really un-Burnley like sign a player from France. He's a left back. They also signed Nathan Collins from Stoke, highly rated centre back, and also Connor Roberts from Swansea for 2.6 million. Purchased him on the back of a pretty good Euros with Wales, and so it looks like it's business as usual for Burnley. The target is obviously going to be to stay in the division, and I think they will. And I think there's one major reason, and that's Sean Dyche and his ability to get them over the line, and their ability to pick up sort of 35, 40 points a season. He's worked miracles, and he's just signed a new contract. I think the new owners understand the importance of staying in the Premier League. If they stay in the Premier League for another 5 seasons with all the revenue they should get, then they'll probably be in a great position again. So what's my prediction? I think Burnley will finish maybe 16th, or maybe in that region between sort of survival and 11th maybe. I don't think they'll go for the cups. Dyche is clever enough to focus on survival. He signed a new deal. You imagine that there'll be 3 teams that are worse than Burnley who get less points. So I think he's going to work another miracle. and if he does, then you know he's up there. He's up there with the best managers in this country. So yep, they'll survive, and not much else. But survival is success for them. And I hope the leverage buyout doesn't turn sour. And I really hope that the club can clear that debt and come through, because I think the Premier League are abysmal. They block other takeovers. They give Derby a point deduction. They block Saudi Arabian takeover of Newcastle. They allow the Glazers to take over. They allow Burnley's new owners to use a leverage buyout. It's just they're useless. They're just a toothless tiger. So I hope it works out. I hope they don't go the same way as Leeds and you know Derby and Nottingham Forest and Portsmouth and you know the long list of clubs that have been destroyed almost by having these sort of this level of debt and owners that leverage debt against the club. So yeah, we'll see, but I think Dyche will pull off another miracle and they'll stay up. So thanks a lot for watching. Thank you.